What's up, guys? Moraduke here. It is 10 after 8 in the morning. I took a shower, got myself a new pair of glasses. I have my cereal, some Fruit Loops with marshmallows in it, alright? Slamming fucking cereal. Usually I'm a Reese's Puffs kind of guy, but I decided to spread my wings a little bit in the cereal out at the store, you know what I'm saying? Got me some Fruit Loops, and I'm feeling fucking fantastic. Wanted to make a video, wanted to vent about something for a few minutes here that I meant to mention in my E3 video that I recently made. But considering that video was almost 3 hours long, because sometimes I run off on tangents, and anyone who's watched my videos, all 5 of you out there, know I tend to do that. I figured I'd upload it in a separate video, and I think mentioning my E3 video, I think starting next year, I'm going to severely cut down on the time those videos are, because I don't feel like I need to go over every single announcement at E3. Some of them aren't even worth going over, and anyone who comes across my videos, you know pretty much everything that's been announced at E3. So I might tone it down and talk about maybe just the games I'm interested in. I don't know. Who knows how much longer E3 is going to be around anyway at this rate. But it's definitely happening next year. No, I wanted to get on here and just vent about the state of gaming right now. We're in a very interesting time, transitional period with consoles. We definitely know a new Xbox is coming out next year. We definitely know a new PlayStation is coming next year. And Nintendo is selling gangbusters with the Nintendo Switch. My Splatoon 2 model is sitting right over there. But I wanted to talk about just how crazy this era is of gaming that we're in right now. We're in this live services era of gaming, I like to call it. And there's so much, that there's so many games to play. And there's so many games out there that are constantly updated and demand so much of your time, just an insurmountable and impossible amount of your time to keep up with them anymore. It's fucking crazy. I actually made a list on my phone I'm going to go over here in a minute of just the games I own, not even the games I want, but just the games I own, and I could probably spend the rest of my life playing just these games I made on this list, and I still don't feel like I would get the most out of them. Like, it's just crazy. So I'll get right into the list here. And I can start off this list of games I own on the Xbox One, which that's the primary platform I play games on. And just on this list alone of games I own, again, it's a crazy fucking list. I'm just going to get right into it. So, for the Xbox One, these are multiplayer-centric games that I own. We have the Battlefield series. That encompasses Battlefield 4, which that was the game I got on launch. I put something crazy like 300-400 hours into it, because that's the only game I had when I got my Xbox One on the midnight launch on day one. There's Battlefield Hardline, criminally underrated game. People dogged on that so hard. I have no idea why, because they said it was going to be a spin-off game from day one, and it's a fantastic game. But, people were pissed off about it when they found out there weren't tanks and jets in it. Well, no fucking shit, dumbass. It's a cops versus robbers game, and it's a fantastic game. Best single-player campaign in the Battlefield games, although it really isn't saying much, but moving on. Battlefield 1, Battlefield 5, and you can even throw the Xbox 360 games in there that are backward compatible on Xbox One. So that includes Battlefield 2 Modern Combat, which just barely got in before the finish line. Although I think the multiplayer servers were turned off on that a few years ago, I think, which is sad, but you can still play it. There's a very loose single-player campaign. I may or may not have acquired a copy of it that I might upload someday, but that's backward compatible. Battlefield 1943, the Bad Company games, Bad Company 1 and 2, and also, last but certainly not least, Battlefield 3, which is the game I played the shit out of waiting for the Xbox One to launch in 2013. That's literally probably 1,000 hours worth of gaming right there in the Battlefield series. But this is just the start of the list. So we have Titanfall, which that can cover Titanfall 1 and 2. Fantastic games. I put at least a couple hundred hours into the first Titanfall. And Titanfall 2 also I've played quite a bit. Fantastic games. Then you have the Halo Master Chief Collection, which that's what, 4 or 5 games in one. I think you can include is Halo Reach Halo ODST, the expansion for Halo 3's. I think they made that a separate download along with the collection for people who own the collection. But Halo Reach can be included in that as well because that's backward compatible with Xbox One too. You have Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare, which is a cute little game. I played that a little bit, but kind of fell off of it, sadly. And now we have Garden Warfare 2, and EA recently sent out an email for Garden Warfare 3, or what's going to be Garden Warfare 3. It's heavy speculation. That's what it's going to be. I don't know what else it could be, but you could spend hundreds of hours in those games alone. You got the Forza Motorsport games. You got the Forza Horizon games. Mortal Kombat 10. Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2, Grand Theft Auto Online, which is in Grand Theft Auto 5, Rainbow Six Siege, NBA Live and NBA 2K, which if I was going to play like a realistic sports games, basketball is the ones I gravitate towards. I also like hockey games, so NHL is on this list. I have NHL 19, which was recent games with gold. And I think I have NHL 16 sitting over there. You got Rocket League. You got Doom. Which, am I the only person on planet Earth that actually liked the multiplayer of Doom? Because every time I read about the multiplayer of Doom 2016 I'm talking about, everyone dogs on the multiplayer in that game so fucking hard. The multiplayer in Doom is actually what made me buy it. Because the betas they had leading up to the release of the game were multiplayer betas, and I love them. And the thing that sold me head over heels and actually made me run out and pre-order the game was between the closed beta and the open beta, one of the biggest criticisms I had when I first played Doom multiplayer was that the movement speed was way too slow. Way too slow. I wanted like a more authentic deathmatch type game that was really popular in the 90s, and Doom is really the last bastion of those types of games. Because those games culminated with Unreal Tournament 2004 on the PC. And I know there was like Unreal Championship on the original Xbox, but it wasn't nearly as popular as its PC counterparts. But the point I'm trying to make with Doom is they made the movement speed faster in the open beta from the closed beta. Like, they listened to that. And it just blew me away. And that game is fucking amazing. Everyone rants and raves about the single player. Of course, the single player is fucking baller as fuck. It's awesome. Doom Eternal, when that comes out, that's going to be awesome. No doubts about that at all. They get it. They know what Doom is. They know what people like about Doom. Doom, right? But the multiplayer is so fucking great. Like, there's no other shooter like that on modern consoles, at least not one I'm aware of, that invokes the feeling of deathmatch from the 90s, when it took skill, when you had to adjust your mouse sensitivity down to the nearest decimal point, and it made all the difference in the world against facing other veterans in those games. Like, those games took an enormous amount of skill, an enormous amount of time to, get good at and hold your own in them. And Doom, while it doesn't take that much precision to play, it certainly invokes memories of that era of gaming. And I just think it's fantastic. Moving on with the list, Overwatch. Popular little game by Blizzard. You may have heard of it. I think the summer games are going on right now. Lucille Ball, motherfuckers. Halo 5. The Borderlands series, which I never got into. I really want to. I have the Handsome Collection. I have a physical copy of that. I also have, I think, Borderlands 1 backward compatible, and I want to get Borderlands Game of the Year edition. I always wanted to get into those games, but I never did. You got the Gears of War games, which Gears of War multiplayer is getting more and more popular. I think it even was popular in the first games. I totally missed the window on Gears of War because I was still primarily a PC gamer then. But I played the recent little technical test. That was actually the newest video I uploaded of gameplay of that, and it's pretty fun. I just wish I had more time to dedicate to it, which I could say that pretty much about any game on here. We have For Honor, which I got that on release, but I fell off of that. Dead by Daylight, which is really fun. Call of Duty, Modern Warfare Remastered. You can also throw Black Ops 4 in there, and pretty much any other Call of Duty that still has an active player base. Onrush, which another very underrated game. I love Onrush to death. It's just fantastic. It's easy to pick up and play. It's balls to the wall action. It always keeps you on your toes. The wait between matches is almost seamless. It's a fantastic game. Then there's Red Dead Online and Red Dead Redemption 2, and then there's Killing Floor 2, which is another co-op shooter. All those games I just named, that's a lot of fucking games, man. I can quit my job tomorrow and start playing these games and just magically not sleep for the rest of my life and start playing these games, and maybe by the time I collect Social Security, if I live that long based on that crazy schedule, I may or may not be able to hold my own in maybe half of those games. Right now, as it stands, I have maybe 10 hours a week to play games, maybe on a Friday and Saturday night if I don't have plans to go out somewhere, okay? And that's not a lot of time. Like, you're not going to be able to hold your own against the most hardcore players in Rainbow Six Siege playing 10 hours a week, okay? Good fucking luck with that. Some of those people, it doesn't even go to Rainbow Six Siege. Like, you can say about any of these games I just named, people are religious about these. Like, and this is what I'm getting at. Like, who the fuck has time to play all of these games? It's crazy. Especially when you're someone like me, who, when I like to play games, I like to be fully immersed in them. Also, and I tend to be a completionist with games. Especially with role-playing games, I'm like a leave no stone unturned type person, because I want to see everything this amazing virtual world that's before me has to offer. That's why you can include games like that aren't exactly multiplayer centric, but I have other games on here like large single player RPGs. Like, you know, I have nightmares of starting games in like an Elder Scrolls game like Skyrim or The Witcher 3, which multiple people have recommended to me. I've had it for a while. I haven't even touched it because, you know, I'll probably either have a head full of gray hair or a heart attack or maybe both by the time I even get 1/3 of the way through that game. I will start it one day. Of course, I'm being a bit hyperbolic when I say that, but man, it just scares the shit out of me. As someone who's a father, as someone who works more than 40 hours a week, it's crazy, you know? But then there's games, those are just the games I own on Xbox One again. And then there's games that I want to own, but I don't have. Like, I want to learn how to play Mortal Kombat 11. I want to try out the Destiny games. There's 2 of those now. The Division 2 wasn't so hot on the first one. I played the beta for the first one. Then I played the beta for the second one. And I like the second one a lot better, but I just don't have the time to dedicate to it. Then there's the free-to-play games, which I'm kind of going through those little by little. There's like Apex Legends, Paladins, there's Warframe, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, Smite, etc., etc., etc. The list goes on. That's just on one platform, all of those games. That's on Xbox One. That's not even counting all of the games I have and I'm interested in on other platforms. Like, for example, on the PS4. The 2 multiplayer games I can think of off the top of my head that I'd really like to play more of are Gran Turismo Sport, being the biggest one I want to play on the PS4. And, you know, Street Fighter V. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm some sort of, like, MLG person when it comes to fighting games. I fucking suck dick at fighting games. I'll just come right out and say that. But I'd like to learn, I'd like to get to a level where I can kind of sort of hold my own with maybe 1 or 2 characters. That might not take a lot of time, but I know there's always going to be someone out there who dedicates more time to a fighting game. So those kind of frighten me a little bit to try and get into. Um, and then there's two games on the Wii U, multiplayer games. I still pop in from time to time, but I like to dedicate more time to the original Splatoon and the original Super Mario Maker. There's people that still play those. They're still online, still have a very, very good population. With this first Splatoon, I think I tried playing that about a week ago, and there's still, you have no problem. I have no problems finding matches on that. Mostly Japanese players from what I've seen, but that might just be the time of day I play. I play late at night. But yeah, there's still plenty of people playing those. I haven't got to max level in Splatoon, and I haven't really played the first Mario Maker as much as I'd like to. So there's still that. And going on with Nintendo, there's the Nintendo Switch, there's Splatoon 2, which, bittersweet that the last Splatfest happened. I say bittersweet because there's a lot of Splatfests I missed, which sucks because the whole reason I got my Switch was to play Splatoon 2, but I was so busy with other stuff and other games that I missed out on a lot of Splatfests, and I wish I didn't. But in the end, Team Chaos, whoop whoop, we won. So that's what matters in the end, right? But seriously, on the Switch, there's also Mario Tennis Aces. There's Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, I think it's called. A little indie game. Looks like it's doing pretty well. You know, might check it out here from time to time. I hear it's good. I don't know. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. ARMS. Do people still play ARMS? I don't know. I have ARMS. I should try out ARMS sometime. ARMS. And also, last but not least, which just came out, is Super Mario Maker 2. I bought it on release day. It's in my Switch. I barely even touched it. You know, which is the story for probably about a good 75-80% of games I have. It was on sale. I saw it. It looked good. People say it's good. I have it. Haven't really played it much. I could say that about almost any game I have. Then, on top of that, if all those games weren't enough, then there's games on the PC I want to still play. I want to build a new PC and get back into that because not only is there computer games I want to get back into, there's computer games I want to play again, like DOS games that are near and dear to my heart, and also newer Windows games, like RTS games, like I'd like to play Age of Empires 2 again. But there's games that you have to dedicate a large amount of time to be competent again. Games like Counter-Strike, MMOs, if you're interested in any MMOs. Like, I've always wanted to try and play Guild Wars. Guild Wars 2, I think, still has a decent population, I think. I played World of Warcraft for a little while, but I eventually burned out on that. I always wanted to play Final Fantasy 11, and I also wanted to play Final Fantasy 14. Those are both MMOs, and you know, I enjoy the Final Fantasy series, some more than others. I think the Super Nintendo ones are the best, but I haven't really played a lot of the other Final Fantasies, so that's something another thing I want to do. Again, if I have time, that's another daunting thought of going through those games because they're going to take a while because they're RPGs, obviously. Yeah, like, that's a lot of fucking games, man. That's not even counting, on top of all that, there's games on older systems that I've always wanted to play but I never have, and games I haven't played for years that I really enjoy and I'd like to go back and play them. It takes an insane amount of time to play all these. Not even to complete them, but to be competent in them. In a perfect world, which it's not, because, you know, it's taken almost 20 years for 9/11 first responders to get money for medical assistance that they need. But I digress. There's just not enough time in the day to play all this stuff. And I know what the obvious answer is. I know that you're probably saying, Moraduke, you got to pick the games you really like and just go with those. Yeah. But if I do that, any of those games I play on this list that I just rattled off, that's time that's going to be taken away from all the other games I'm interested in playing. Because multiplayer games, after a while, they die out. Unless you're one of the rare ones, like, say, something like Counter-Strike, which is basically immortal. People are going to be playing Counter-Strike for the next 500 years, probably. When the world ends, there's going to be cockroaches and fucking servers somewhere running CS 1.6. But, it's that shitty feeling of missing out, you know? Because you want to experience all these amazing games. And if a lot of people are playing games, well, there's got to be, if multiplayer games have a large player base, then there's got to be something to them, right? And I'm all about checking out the hype and seeing what's up. But it's just not realistic to do it with all of these games. You know? In a perfect world, like I was going to say before, I would love to sit down with each and every video game that came out and do a comprehensive review of every single one, and I just know I can't do that. You know, I'll be dead and buried by the time I feel like I'm making any sort of real progress. So I just wanted to vent about that, trying to figure out, like, what to do with that, if I need to, like, kind of make a new system and figure things out. And then, you know, there's shit like, you know, companies like Bethesda removing games from your fucking accounts where you've already bought the fucking game because they want to re-release it under your nose so they can get more money from you. This whole debacle that recently happened with the early Doom games that were on the Xbox 360, and I think it affected the PS3 as well. And the earlier Doom games are backward compatible that were on the 360 on the Xbox One. And even if you bought those games, there was reports of them disappearing from your ready-to-install list, even though you bought them already. So you could buy the new remastered versions that have fucking DRM in them, so Bethesda can get extra money and have a little extra control over what you buy. So not only is there way too many games to play, and you can easily fall into the bottomless well that's just paralysis of analysis, just trying to sit down and just figure out what the fuck to play. Now you have games disappearing from your ready-to-install list. And that's a whole other subject I can get into. I can make another video about that. But as someone who values not only liking what to do with the fucking copy of something I bought, whether it's a video game or an album, a music, a movie, a book, fucking, you know, glowing vibrator that sings Christmas carols and cooks me French toast in the morning. If I bought something, I want to be able to use it whenever, wherever, however. The end, okay? I don't want someone to come in, the person I bought it from, or the person who owns the intellectual property to it, and just take it back whenever they want, okay? I'm not interested in giving my hard-earned money to fucking Indian giver corporations. I'm just not. Call me old-fashioned. That's not something that tickles my fancy very well. And of course, enough people raised a stink about it, and Bethesda said, "Oh, well, it was just a bug. It was just a joke. Sorry, guys. You can have these copies back, and oh, by the way, we're also going to remove our DRM from the new remastered versions too. So it's all good, right? It's all good. Just a little oversight." Man, Bethesda is making. You guys have been making a lot of oversights. You know, Fallout 76, which should have been like a free multiplayer mode in Fallout 4. I guess that was just an oversight, right? Okay, fuckers. When people buy a game, or whatever, they want to have that sense of ownership from the copy of the game they bought. This falls into not only preservation, because when games started out, they were like companies thought of them as like kids' toys. You see a kid sees a toy on the shelf, he brings it home, he picks it, he plays with it, he throws it around his room for 6 months, then it gets lost on the sidewalk or under his bed and that's it, right? But gaming companies, because they know they can make extra money off of this shit, they know how important nostalgia is. And now they're starting to wise up to what these old games are worth to people. And a huge reason why people are so protective of the copies of the games they own and they want to be able to play these at any time falls into, preservation, nostalgia, emulation really fits those needs really well, which is why emulators are getting more and more popular. It's even why piracy is popular. Okay? Because guess what? If you pirate a game, nobody can take that away from you. You're not going to lose that game unless you have a fucking hard drive crash or something. Because there's no DRM. There's nothing tying that copy of the game to the intellectual property rights holder. And they fucking hate that. Does it suck for a company to lose money off of something they made and something they're trying to sell? Yeah. Am I going to sit here and argue that it's right? No. But I'm just giving you a little bit of insight as to why people do it. It's because when they want to play that game, it's there. Okay? It doesn't magically fucking disappear from their ready to install list. When you work your fucking ass off all week, and I can relate to this, I'm running around doing errands, doing chores, helping to potty train my son, play with him, spend time with him. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just, it is what it is. Like, you work like heck to get the week in check, you know what I'm saying? And you want to sit down on a Friday night and you just want to take a load off. You just want to play some fucking video games. Well, what happens when the one game you want to play, you have to re-download it because you don't have the hard drive space to have it installed at all times, which you shouldn't because you own the fucking game. You should be able to download it whenever you want, and it's just not there anymore. Because the intellectual property rights holder decided to take it out of your ready-to-install list and take it upon themselves to release an inferior remaster of the game so they can get more money from you. Now, fuck that, okay? You bet your ass, if that happens and they don't give it back, you bet your ass I'm going to go pirate the fucking game. Because I already paid for it. I paid my dues. I put my time in. Okay? Choke on my balls. But lucky for Bethesda, they saw the error of their ways and they put the games back. But what's to stop it from happening again? Because there's going to be a fucking company out there that's going to try it again. And if all of us don't take a stand against this shit, it's going to keep happening. It's going to happen more and more. And sooner or later, there's going to be companies out there that get away with it. Same thing happened with Minecraft Story Mode. Although maybe they didn't have much of a choice in that because Telltale Games is no more. But I owned Season 1 and Season 2, and I can't play all of Season 2 now because I didn't get all of the proper downloads before the games went offline off the servers. So I can't play my legit copy of Season 2. So now if I want to play all of Season 2 of Minecraft Story Mode, I gotta go pirate a fucking copy somewhere and put it on one of my consoles that's homebrew enabled. It's just kind of a shitty feeling, but I want to play the game I paid for. I've said it before and I'll say it a million times. I know corporations exist to make money. They're businesses. They want to make money. That's their primary goal, okay? They're not going to do things and release things out of the goodness of their heart unless there's something in it for them, and usually it's this. But corporations don't have to be assholes to get what they want, okay? And on the flip side too, end users or consumers, we don't have to be total assholes to get what we want either. I'm not going to sit here and say blindly steal things because you don't like what a company does. If you don't like it, don't buy it. Okay? That's it. But we got to meet in the middle somewhere. There's got to be a level of trust that's established between both parties. Okay? If I'm spending my hard-earned money on a digital copy of a game that's on sale, I expect it to be in my account at all times. Okay? At the very least, give plenty of notice as to when a game is going to get delisted or a game's going to be taken out of your account, so people have a chance to install it or back it up or something. I don't know if I'm totally comfortable with the way gaming's going. It's just, there's this big push for all digital, which I was kind of okay with. I'm someone who grew up with cartridges and discs. I'm used to that. But I can see how digital is more convenient. And sometimes digital games tend to go on sale faster with all of these weekly sales and seasonal sales that go on Steam, on Xbox Live, on PSN, etc. Even Nintendo's getting really good about putting games on sale on their storefront on the eShop. But with digital games comes greater risk, and you have less ownership over what you buy. It's not like you're buying a copy of a video game. It's like you're buying an extended rental, And all I have to do is point to the example of the Wii Shop closing down. Even if you bought something on the Wii Shop, you can't re-download it. Those servers are gone. Poof, disappeared forever. Only way you can play those games now is if you homebrew enable your console and you pirate the fuck out of them. Feels pretty shitty, but people should be able to play the games they paid for. It's a lot to think about. How to have time to play all of these great games, how you should purchase them, on what medium you should purchase them on. It's really important to think ahead now, that especially when games are like where games are right now and where they're going. But I just wanted to get on here and talk about that for a little bit because it's something that's really been on my mind recently. I don't know. I don't know if I should just take a complete hiatus from video games and just go do something else for a while and come back and be the dreaded casual gamer and just play play a fucking Mario Brothers game once in a while. Or maybe if I should just stick to emulators and just exclusively play older games. I don't know. Because games nowadays aren't really worth the money. I usually wait for the complete editions for games to come out, which are fully patched. They have all the DLC in them. I'm the guy who drops maybe $100 or so on Black Friday and gets the complete versions of games that are discounted and have been out for a while, and I haven't really got to them because I have a backlog that can probably orbit the fucking moon 10 times over at this rate between all the systems I have access to. So I have plenty of stuff. I don't need to run out and buy a game day one anymore. I got plenty of shit to play. So yeah, just something I've really been thinking about. I know I'm not the only one in this boat. I know there's plenty of other people out there that share this idea, which is cool, but it really doesn't go towards anything. It doesn't get any closer to solving the problem. So, I'm glad there's a lot of choice in games out there. There's more people getting into video games, which is cool. As long as they separate reality from fantasy and don't try to shoehorn their political agenda into it or whatever that doesn't belong in gaming. But again, I digress. That's a whole other topic entirely. But yeah, I'm going to end this video because it's already longer than I thought it was going to be. Big surprise. But yeah, it's a lot to think about. I don't know. I'll figure out some kind of system as to which games I want to play. But I'm going to keep on trucking with the Xbox One for now. I'm going to wait till the new Xbox comes out and next year, and I'll dabble in games on other systems, I guess, whenever I have time. Just got to maybe work on some time management a little bit better. one of the big things I think is I take too much time in deciding what games I want to play rather than just actually playing them. So maybe if I make a list ahead of time and just, stick to that list and boom, 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 and, maybe just play this game for an hour, play that game for an hour, something like that. But man, I'm always going to play video games at some point. I can't quit them altogether for long. So I've been playing games since I was 4 years old. I'd be crazy to stop now. But speaking of stopping, that's what I'm going to do with this video. Yeah, if you have similar thoughts, I'd like to hear them. Drop a comment in this video. I'd like to know what you think about the state of gaming right now and where it's headed. And yeah, and just if you feel the same way or you don't feel the same way, or, just your thoughts on the subject. All right, I will see you guys later. Have a wonderful day, and I will be back with more videos soon. Moraduke out. See you guys.